You read that title correctly. The auto, it's out of here. This press is out of here for a few good reasons, some positive, some negative. And well, rather than be a dick and start off with the negatives and drag this thing out and make you wait till the entire end of the video to find out what's going on, how about I start with the positive stuff? If you've been watching the channel for a little while, you might have a little bit of an idea what's going on right now, but if you're new here or if you've forgotten, I'm gonna catch you up real quick. So, back when I made the video uncrating this thing, I dropped this little piece of information. We have a press in our inventory right now that just came out of another shop, so this thing is actually used. I don't know if you can tell. There's a couple dings in it, but they said we can get this thing up to you super quick. You can get to work, do what you need to do, and in the meantime, we'll do what we need to do on the other press, and when the time comes, we'll do a switcheroo. Well, that time has officially come. We're putting a new press in here, something bigger, better, way more badass. It's gonna be tough to cram into this little space. That's what she said. But what fun would it be if things were easy? The new press is already on a truck on its way here, so I should see it within the next week. The tech is booked to come out within the next day or two after that, so everything is lined up to happen very, very quickly. And you bet your ass that I'm gonna be making a video all about that. So you're gonna have to wait till then to find out exactly what press it is, but I can promise you right now, it's good. And this couldn't have come at a better time because I'm gonna be honest with you, me and this thing have not had a good relationship since day one. In the video where I uncrated this thing and mentioned that it was gonna be temporary, I did mention that it was used, but one thing I didn't mention was that, it was used. Normally when you get a used machine from any manufacturer, they go through a pretty rigorous refurb process, and well, I'm not even gonna try and sugarcoat this right now. Somebody somewhere really dropped the ball because this one did not get it at all. It showed up pretty dinged up, which could be normal for a used piece of equipment, so not a big deal, but it also showed up filthy. It was covered in ink and grease and spray adhesive and oil and all kinds of other stuff. There were broken parts, missing parts. It was crazy. So understandably, I was pretty pissed off right from the get-go because that's not how I do things around here. I like to keep a clean shop and maintain my equipment and take care of it, and this did not reflect that. But at the same time, I didn't really want to complain at all. It made me feel like a dickhead because this is being given to me after all. You should just be grateful for what you have. So I went to work cleaning, I put in some elbow grease, and I got this thing looking pretty decent on camera. I brought up the issues to the people that it needed to be brought up to. Everything was cool. We moved on from there. Then came time for installation, which I made a video all about. If you haven't seen it yet, you can click this thing right here, or is it here? I can never remember which side it's on. There's a thing popping up somewhere. Started the installation, everything was going smooth, and then we get smacked with a 2-month delay for a step-down transformer. This again was a pretty big oversight. Because this is a sponsorship deal going through multiple companies, I didn't go through the normal onboarding process that a press buyer normally does, so I wasn't made aware that I needed to have a step-down transformer in my shop. And it took a long time to get that thing. It was something like 8 weeks because they had to build it. And so again, I was a little bit upset, but at the end of the day, I gotta eat the blame for that one because this is my shop and I should have just done more digging, more research, and been more prepared. So after all of that, I was like, it's over. I can finally start printing some shirts on this thing. I feel like I've been waiting a lifetime. And sure enough, I start printing my first job on this thing and I noticed something's not right here. I started setting up this 3-color job and right away I noticed that the registration is changing from shirt to shirt to shirt, and it wasn't consistent either. It was going one way, it was going the other way, and it was just, I could not explain what was happening. It was weird. I tried everything I could to fix it. I literally glued that shirt down to the pallet to the point that it was not coming off there just to make sure that wasn't it. I started changing the screens around from printhead to printhead. I started noticing improvements. I started noticing it getting worse at times. It was unexplainable. So a tech was sent up here. We worked on it for a few days. We were able to find some smaller problems and make minor improvements, but the main issue we just could not figure out. Then they sent up another printer who has the exact same press. They sent up Dallas from Opaque Screen Printing. Super cool guy, thinking that, maybe it's me, maybe we can train me better. Maybe there's something that we're not seeing here. And we spent a whole day. We printed 200 shirts or something with an 8-color print on it, both sides. So we went through like 400 prints or something like that. And not one of those prints was registered, I'll tell you that right now.
Up to your standards.
No, not even close. We spent hours trying to get that thing registered, and it had a absurd amount of choke on it, something that I would never do in a million years. It was like a 1.25 stroke on that thing. It's just way too much, and still, it would not hold registration on certain printheads. So logically, you would think, oh, it must be isolated to those printheads. Maybe we should investigate there. No. I could get those printheads registered again, and get this. The other ones would pop out, like come on. So clearly at this point, my patience had run out completely. This had been like a 6-month ordeal not being able to print a shirt. I'm literally getting worked up again just thinking about this whole ordeal. But at this point, after like 100 meetings and enough stress that felt like it took 5 years off of my life, Ryonet stepped in and said, you know what, enough of that shit. We're gonna replace that press early and we're gonna put the press in there that's supposed to be there. That was a big sigh of relief for me. I'm gonna get real with you guys right now. It's taken a long time to get operational in this new shop. It's been a year now, and operating at like 20% capacity has almost crippled my business and in turn crippled this channel along with it. And I'm not saying that's completely this thing's fault, because it is not. There was other stuff that happened. There was the manual press thing. There's another huge issue that I haven't even spoken about yet that we're gonna talk about in a future video, but just everything compiled all at once made this thing drag out forever, and it was a lot to get through. So when they stepped up and said, we're gonna get that new press on its way as quickly as we can, that was the first time in like 6 months where I took a breath and was like, okay, we got this. We can come back from this. And that shot of motivation proved correct, because shortly after that, the new manual press showed up. I got on that thing. I started figuring that out, started printing shirts again for the first time in a year, which felt fucking incredible. I was able to get my new little clothing brand started up, which has been awesome so far. And I was even able to spend some time with this thing, take a few things apart, tinker around a little bit since I do have a mechanic background, and I was able to get a couple print heads working correctly, surprisingly. It wasn't working to 100% capacity by any means, but I was able to print off one color jobs, which obviously wasn't a problem in the beginning because you don't need registration for that. I was able to print off the Bushido tees in the one video that you guys saw with this thing, which was secretly my practice run for the new press that's on its way here, but still, those tees came out incredible, no problems there. And I was able to print off something like 600 or so other 2-screen prints that came out really nicely. So that knowledge of the new press being on the way here was the motivation shot that I absolutely needed. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that there is nothing bad about these machines. If I had even an inkling of that idea in my head, I would not be allowing this replacement to happen. I'd be moving on to something else and making an entirely different video right now. So don't let my current experience reflect on these things at all. I know I'm not going to. I think this just boils down to this thing being not well taken care of, being used and abused, and becoming haunted, because I've had nothing but bad luck since it showed up. And you guys know by now that I'm a no bullshit guy, so if the new one shows up and we're still having problems, we will absolutely revisit that opinion, but I'm very confident we're not gonna have to do that, and we're gonna have a killer press in here. You know, it's pretty weird. I'm sitting here thinking right now that I'm kind of grateful for the time that I had with this thing, because I learned some valuable lessons that I needed to learn and went through some hard times that I probably needed to go through, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy to see it go, so see you later, you difficult bastard. Anyway, make sure you guys keep an eye out for the next one. It's gonna be good. And please, drop a thumbs up on this video for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you soon. It's terrifying. Oh my God, I almost took out my camera. That was amazing.